患者の記憶をデータとして自動的にバックアップしていくのです。記憶が失われたとしても、その都度 PC にアクセスし、脳内にデータを再インストールすることが可能です。それによって忘却の進行を食い止められるのではないか、私たちはそう考えています。最終的には海馬傍回から PC 内の記憶データに常時アクセスできるようになるでしょう。そうすれば脳機能が失われた状態、例えば脳が激しく損傷したり萎縮してしまった場合などですが、そのような状態でも変わらず脳機能を維持できます。あたかも外部ストレージと同じように。
A strange feeling gripped the hall. Part of it was shock in the feeling that they were witnessing the announcement of an incredible technology. Part of it was skepticism that a system like this could ever actually work. Part of it was revulsion at the idea of playing around with a human brain like that. An excitement born of all these things passed from one member of the crowd to another. Now he's going for a high five. Dr. Leskinen raised his hand to encourage questions.
どうやら2つ目のプロジェクトをお話しする前に質問を受け付けないといけないようですね。できる範囲でお答えします。どうぞ。
Many hands were raised. I could tell that there was a wide age range of people interested. Both young and old were raising their hands. Dr. Leskinen pointed to a questioner. This was the first question. Sampling would be required when digitizing analog memories. Does that mean any information would be lost? The professor nodded as he listened to the question in Japanese and began to respond in English when the speaker finished. Maybe he was able to understand Japanese if not speak it.
その質問を言い換えると、オーケストラの生演奏を WAV のデータに保存する際、生演奏のすべてを完璧に記録することはできないと。
You know them good WAV files.
確かにその懸念はあります。現在の研究で最も困難な問題の一つです。脳内のネットワークが神経伝達物質のオンオフだけで、つまり二進数的にデータのやり取りをしているのであれば簡単な問題でした。それはデジタルデータと同じことだからです。しかし実際には伝達物質や電気信号は脳内でアナログ的に変化することが分かっています。この問題に関しては今のところより高いサンプリングレートでデータをサンプルする方法しか手段を持っていません。音楽の話で言えば 44.1kHz よりも 48kHz、 48kHz よりも 96kHz でサンプリングするといった具合です。それによってデジタルでありながらアナログデータに近い情報を得ようとしています。
Little by little, the mood in the room was turning to disappointment. People were beginning to wonder if this was just a pretty theory that wouldn't work in reality. More questions came. All the questionnaires were skeptical of the professor's theory, and many of them seemed to be outright challenging him. I started to get upset. This was Dr. Lessinen's research, but it was also Kirisu's. I knew better than anyone that it worked, and the sight of so many people refusing to give it a chance infuriated me. Were these people really scientists? I tried to keep myself under control and look back towards the podium. Was she mad? She certainly looked disappointed. Dr. Leskinen was very polite with the rude questioners, acknowledging the problems with the theory. She was very different. Her anger was starting to seep into her interpreting, too. I felt a kind of kinship with her. The question and answer session continued.
そもそもこれは医学的に無謀でしょう。デジタルデータを脳に書き戻すなんて絶対に不可能だ。正気の沙汰ではない。サイエンス誌に掲載されたあの論文も読みましたが、にわかには信じられない。ましてや 筆頭著者が若干17歳の女性だったとあっては。
That was the one thing I couldn't ignore.
あなたね。
Welcome to Steins Gate Ace Attorney Edition.
Huh?
The two people on the stage and the entire audience all turned toward me at once.
やってみもしないで何がわかるって言うんだ。最初は無理だと思われてた技術なんてこの世にいくらでもあるじゃないか。でもそれを克服した研究者がいたからこそ今があるんだろう。ただ批判するだけじゃ何も生まれない。
I would disagree with that, but the whole theater went silent. But I didn't regret standing up.
あなた。
On the stage, Maho Hyaja was staring at me in shock. As for Dr. Leskinen, I saw a flash of white teeth as our eyes met, and now he's very close to me.
Awesome. He's really something.
He started to applaud. Why was he applauding? That just makes things embarrassing.
素晴らしい。彼はなかなか大したやつだ。ですって。
Maho translated the professor's words for me to hear.
Nonetheless, a scientist must
ただ
always
し
remain composed.
科学者たるもの常に冷静でなければいけない。
The only time when it is
大
possible
声で
to
怒鳴っ
shout
て
is
いいのは
when your
実
experiment
験が
is a
成功
success
した
and you
時
say,
の
"We did it,"
We did it.
We did it.
and that should be enough.
それだけで十分だそうですよ。
すみません。
I lowered my head and sat down. I thought I was calm, but I guess I let my emotions get away from me. I hadn't grown up at all in the past 6 months. If Kirisa was here, she'd make fun of me again. I could feel the rest of the audience stare at me coldly. It hurt. If I could have left, I would have wanted to, but I was too interested in hearing the rest of Dr. Leskinen's talk to move.
And anyway, moving on.
それでは皆さん、そろそろ次に。
Oh, first, a round of applause,
でも、
please, for
そ
our
の
great
前
friend.
に勇敢な彼に拍手をお願いします。
Oh no, please, no.
Men like him are what
彼
drives
のような
scientific
挑
progress
戦者
and
こそが、
enact the
科学
core
を進歩させ、
remarkable series.
あっと驚くような理論を作り上げるのです。
He may even become the third
彼なら
Einstein.
きっと、第3のアインシュタインになれるかもしれませんね。
The third Einstein.
The second Einstein, of course, would
ち
be
なみ
more
に、
slightly
第
foreseen.
2
I
の
guess, I mean, I don't know much about,
アイ
like,
ンシュタインは
oh.
ここにいるちょっと小うるさい私の助手。変なこと言うのはやめてください、教授。
The audience chuckled. Sheesh.
さて、ここで私はしばらく通訳をお休みさせていただきます。これから私よりも優秀な通訳が登場します。これが私たちのチームが今最も力を入れている2つ目のプロジェクト。アマデウス
It's a giant picture of me! When she finished speaking, Maho walked to the back of the stage. As Dr. Leskinen signaled, the PC screen was displayed on the projector. And then I heard a voice.
皆さん、初めてお目にかかります。
The murmuring got louder than before, but it felt more uncertain than surprised. On the screen, I could see a detailed 3D model of Maho, the girl who had just been interpreting.
ちなみにこれは映画などで有名なドリンクワークススタジオに作成してもらったモデルです。
Is that supposed to be a play on DreamWorks? From the creators of Shrek, come Giant Maho. Maho Hyajo chimed in from the back of the stage. I'm not gonna go there.
声に
Just
つい
kidding.
ては私のボイスサンプルをデータベースにして日本の山名が作ってくれました。
Totally not Yamaha. Is this a Vocaloid? Is this the next Hatsune Miku? This was CG? It sure looked real to me. The professor said something into the laptop's microphone. And then the 3D model of Maho Hyajo on the screen opened its mouth. Bah! That's 3 days, 6 hours, 22 minutes, right? If you listen carefully, you might be able to hear something slightly off, but it sounded far more human than any artificial voice I'd ever heard.
先ほどから皆さんの質問を聞かせていただいていました。教授はどうして私を早く紹介しないのかと、とてももどかしく思っていましたよ。以前から感じていましたが、どうも教授は人が悪いようですね。まったくだわ。
The Maho Hyajo on the screen spoke with a slightly irritated expression, and the Maho Hyajo by the wall nodded in agreement. Dr. Leskinen simply smiled. What was going on here? What part of this was their big project? The rest of the audience didn't seem to have any more of a clue than I did.
皆さんの多くは疑問に思っています。人間の記憶をデータとして取り出したり、それを保存したり、さらにはそのデータを活用したり、そんなことが本当に可能なのかと。それでは私は一体何でしょうか。私は78時間23分前のヒヤ城真帆の脳内から取り出された記憶を持ち、そのデータをベースにして動いているの。
A minute has passed. What did she just say? The professor said something else in rapid English and asked the Maho on the screen to translate it. But if she was the right word, hesitated and went silent. I looked at the real Maho and she was responding exactly the same.
教授、今のは。教授、今の発言はセクシャルハラスメントとして大学に訴えてもいいでしょうか。
Dr. Lessinen laughed cheerfully and responded to her. The conversation was in quick English and over half the audience couldn't understand it. The real Maho sighed and took back the microphone.
教授はですね、私に対して、いえ、私の記憶で動作しているこのアマデウスに対して質問に答えてごらんと言いました。いつ頃までパパとお風呂に入っていたかとか。
Those are weird questions.
初恋はいつだったかとか、何でも答えられるだろうと。ああ、もうそれ以上通訳しなくていいわ。恥ずかしいからやめてくれないかしら。私はそういう質問には一切答えないわよ。
The professor said something else and the Maho on the screen groaned and turned away.
クレジットカードの番号なんてもっと言えません。
Bleh.
あと、1週間前に着ていたパジャマの色なんて覚えてるわけないです。
What was this? It was so natural I couldn't tell at first, but this was something unbelievable, wasn't it? It felt very different than typical AI. I could tell that much. It wasn't answering the questions it was given. And because they were embarrassing? Was it programmed to respond like that to certain questions for the purposes of the demonstration? It was possible that that's all it was, but if that conversation wasn't programmed in advance, the rest of the crowd seemed to reach the same conclusion I did, and the whispers started to turn to surprise.
ねえ、ちょっといい加減このいたずらな子供を何とかしてくれないかしら。何をしたいのか理解はできるけど、とにかく恥ずかしいわ。
The copy of Maho was complaining to the original. It felt like I was watching a pair of twin sisters talking.
いたずらな子供ではなく、レスキネン教授が面白がってなかなか説明してくれないので、代わりに私がお話しします。